24 after 12 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Our South African lobby group Actions Society has accused the country's government of effectively protecting convicted sex offenders by keeping the National Register for Sex Offenders hidden from the public. The organisation says that this lack of transparency comes as cases involving abused children continue to drag on in the courts for years, raising serious concerns about justice and accountability. We are now joined by Juanita du Preez, the spokesperson at Action Society, to discuss this further. Juanita, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity.
Now, what are your main concerns about how the National Register for Sex Offenders is currently being managed, and why do you believe keeping the register private is effectively protecting offenders?
Well, we don't know how it's being run at the moment. It's not really transparent because nobody has access to it. You can never see who is on it. If you want to find out if the only way you can see if somebody is on it is when you are an employer of people who work with vulnerable groups like children or the elderly or disabled people. And then you can only apply to see if a certain person is on that list. You don't get access to the list. So that's a big problem. We believe and we trust that schools apply to see if everybody who's on their staff is not on that list. But we as parents cannot check that. And in the past, it has come to light that there are educators who are on that list. So that's a big problem. We don't know who we are entrusting our children to. And that is why we want this register to be in the public domain, so that I, as a parent, and I'm just speaking as parent because I am a parent, but obviously it goes for the other vulnerable groups as well, so that we can make sure who is in contact with our children or with vulnerable people.
And what changes are you calling for in terms of public access to the register? And why do you believe that, or why do you think there is some, protection for, sexual offenders who are registered?
Well, what we see in the cases that we are involved with every day, and this relates to the register as well, is it seems that there are more rights for criminals than there are for victims. So now the delay, what we have learned for making this register public, is the privacy part of it. So we protect the privacy of criminals who hurt vulnerable people on that list, but we do not protect the potential victims and the victims who were the victims of the people on that list. So that is a very big problem. Why do we have more rights for criminals instead of victims? Isn't it supposed to be protecting everybody? And why we are saying it is kept secret and what are they hiding is the Minister of Justice, Minister Kubai, a year ago in February said the list will be made public, and she actually used the words by the end of this month. And then she backtracked and said, no, it's going to be a process and so on and so forth. But there is no update on what is happening. So nobody knows what is happening, which can only make us question, why is it taking so long? What is being hid? Who is being hidden?
Now, international examples where such registers are publicly accessible, do they work?
Yes, the feedback that we have received and the research that we have done shows that it definitely works. In other countries, in the US and the UK, you get a notification to when somebody on that list moves into your area. It is publicly available. You can go and look at who is on that list. So it makes it more safe for people to keep their close ones safe.
And just in wrapping up, you've raised concerns about delays in court cases involving child abuse. How serious is this issue? And what do these delays mean for victims and their families?
It's very bad. Just recently, and we're actually working on a big campaign about this to question and possibly bring some change to that. We've had cases where it is a sexual offense against a minor, a child, and this one was a 4-year-old. The case progressed all the way to just before the trial was going to start, and then it was scrapped from the roll and the reason that we got is because the child is too young to testify. How on earth, so what is the message that we are sending to molesters? Target young children because they are too young to testify, and then you can just continue what you're doing. Because it does seem like that is the message that we are sending. There are ways for social workers and forensic psychologists to speak to children, to have them testify, and have that testimony be taken into consideration in court.
Juanita, thank you so much. We are going to have to leave it here for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you for the opportunity.
That's Juanita du Preez, the spokesperson at Accuses Society. It is 12:30 Central African time, and our news headlines up next.
SABC News.